Your love was nothing but a scandal. My birth certificate says I go by Stefanie, but you, as though my name was Olivia, poped me. You blessed me with your presence just to double-cross me. In the fetal stage of our friendship, you could detect that something was growing, but we weren't far along enough to tell what exactly was developing. It was too early. Yet our daybreak encounter filled my horizon with welcome streaks of light that peeked through my clouded past. Once rainy eyes now only saw mist, sorrowful puddles evaporated by the heat of sunrise expectations, because expectations would rise as high as the sun in a noon sky. You lit up every part of my face to the point where I started believing I'd never have to shave again. You made me forget what a 5 o'clock shadow looked like. It astounded me that you, someone who was once an ignorable whisper, now became the loudest voice in the room. It seemed that with each conversation, you figured out how to manipulate your sound system, because the bass in your voice all of a sudden started booming. Your tone transformed so that every time you spoke, all I heard were the clanging chimes of wedding bells, and the shine that now bounced off of your eyes drew me into their direction, and I really, for the first time, saw that those chocolate brown eyes were more like stained glass windows. Those cathedral eyes made it hard not to want to marry you on sight. Your arms became my sanctuary, an open door that I never hesitated walking into, a place I always felt welcomed. Your chest was an altar that I willingly approached, just so I could hear your choir of a heart sing its music to my ears. Every beat was a hymn. Your embrace was becoming a Sunday service I didn't dare miss. But I must confess, because confession is good for the soul. You were becoming my everything, but you were everything but gospel. You said your favorite color is white. How ironic that your intentions weren't as pure as the color you claim to love the most. You see, it takes two to tango, and graceful moves are reserved for those who've mastered the art. But how could my heart have been anything other than clumsy, with a dance partner known as deception? Your hands knew how to hold my hands. Your hands knew how to grip my waist, but your hands never knew how to have my back. How could I have expected you to walk uprightly when you are spineless? You were a smooth cat who sung sweet melodies to me in the moonlight, because you serenade your best when under a spotlight while your audience is in the dark. Is this what idolatry looks like? When boy meets girl, girl longs for boy to be introduced to her God, but instead boy slowly becomes her God. I tell the world how I'd never worship the devil, but isn't it the same thing when a boy who's his son asks for my worship and I willingly visit him like an altar? Isn't it the same thing when he asks for a sacrificial offering and I contemplate giving him access to what's supposed to be God's holy temple? Isn't it the same thing when I approach a boy with praying hands, although I know he doesn't have the power to provide the answer? A good, godly man was my prayer, but that boy was never the answer. But everything looks peacefully beautiful during dawn, until it actually dawns on you, like it dawned on me. There's no ignoring that after dawn, there's always a dusk. When you're no longer in light of the situation because the sun has set, your surroundings tend to take on another form. Nighttime usually tends to play tricks on you, but oh, how I wished I could only say I were seeing things. Those arms weren't a sanctuary, they were shovels, looking to dig graves for innocent souls. That's why you always held me so close, because your chest was the cemetery and I was just the next body you were looking to bury. You were sweet-talking me into a deadly covenant, spitting insincere, unoriginal rehearsed lines like a groom delivering generic wedding vows. I almost became your corpse bride. You one day pointed out how I didn't hug you the same anymore. Well, would you? If you smelt the putrid scent of other women's carcasses, With those arms, you've buried more bodies of women whose names you probably can't even remember. I won't be like them. I refuse to be your tale from the crypt, a story you can pass on to other hollow skeletons of men. I won't give you the power to tell other bags of bones how you boned. I won't lie back down in that dirt bed that Christ dug me out of. Instead, I'll carve your name out on that tombstone, because I'd rather you be dead to me than to disgrace my living God by becoming your scandal.